Welcome to Medill Sports Talk, where we break down the news this week for the sports you love. It's finally here, and by it, I mean the only playoffs that matter right now. That's right, the National Hockey League playoffs have started. I'm Juliana Sherry here with Nick Mantas and Alexa Adler to talk about what we've seen and what we'd like to see in this year's race to the Stanley Cup. Of course, we have to start with the latest news out of the league. The three Vezina Trophy finalists were announced: Pekka Rinne of the Predators, Andrei Vasilevskiy of the Lightning, and Connor Hellebuyck of the Jets. Nick, any surprises to those picks? Anyone you think might have been snubbed?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the 2017 winner, Sergei Bobrovsky of the Blue Jackets. So the thing about Bobrovsky that I still really like, and everybody thinks that I'm still hung up in 2017, is that he has a really high saves percentage. He doesn't have the 40-win season that other guys might have. He doesn't have the 8 shutouts that Vasilevskiy and Rinne both have, but he does have the shock factor that comes in with the playoffs, is that he's pretty much making sure that the Capitals aren't doing what they thought they were going to do. They have this 2-1 game lead on the series right now, and he's really just holding it down for them. And I'm really kind of shocked that he's not even been mentioned at all, him or Marc-Andre Fleury, who's been standing on his head this entire playoff so far.
Well, unfortunately, they are not part of those finalists. Alexa, I'm going to go to you to talk about these three finalists. Who out of them do you think has the best chance of taking home that trophy?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question, Juliana. Pekka Rinne for sure. This is his year. So he has been nominated 4 times. He's 35 years old. If not now, then when? You know, the Nashville Predators, or should we say the Smashville Predators, won the President's Trophy this year, and he's really been a strong leader for their team. I think that Hellebuyck and Vasilevskiy are young, and there are other years when I think that they really could win this, but I don't see anybody beating Rinne.
Well, let's see kind of how things shake down. We've got a lot of playoffs left. You know, the Lightning have looked good. Vasilevskiy could eke his way in there. I know you don't have a lot of love for him, but let's move our way away from this trophy and into the actual playoffs themselves. There have been 4 overtimes in the playoffs.
Insane.
3 of them have been in the first 3 games of the Capitals Blue Jackets series. Now, a few interesting facts about the Capitals in the playoffs, and bear with me. Tuesday's game was the 10th straight first round playoff game for the Caps that was decided by a single goal. 8 of those 10 have needed overtime. In fact, their playoff record under head coach Barry Trotz is 21-21, and 16 of those games have gone to overtime. 30 of his 42 career playoff games have been decided by a single goal.
Wow.
Nick, what the heck is going on with the Capitals in the playoffs?
If I knew, I could tell you. At this point, all I'm seeing is that, you know, the Caps, this is their MO. This is what they do every year. They get you really excited during the regular season. Alexander Ovechkin has a 40-goal season. He's turning back the clock, and he's training differently, not being the big bruiser that he's always been. It almost looked like that, you know, this could have been their year, that maybe last year was even their year, but they just don't have it. They don't play in the playoffs like they should. And the overtimes, especially for the core guys, it definitely is wearing on them. I wouldn't say not just Ovechkin, but the other guys as well. To the point of where they're talking about blowing up the entire team, getting rid of the coach, just they're done. It's over, and it's only a 2-1 lead right now. They're in the series, and you know, for everybody in Washington, I think that they just got to take another look at this and say, you know, there's been some tough games, but you know, maybe they could pull it off.
Well, they've really been cutting it close against the Blue Jackets. And Alexa, their goal last night in OT to win was so ugly. Rebounds and
gross.
like ridiculousness. What chance do they even have to even up this series on Wednesday and make it out of this first round?
Well, you know, Lars Ellers himself will even say that that was a lucky bounce. That was not a pretty goal, but it was necessary, and it was a sweet victory nonetheless. I say do not count the Caps out just yet, and here's why. The last 3 games, the Caps have started off with the lead, and yes, they've gone into overtime, but as we all know by now, overtime is anybody's game. Puck luck, we've seen it many times before, but the Caps were number 1 in the Metropolitan Division, and the Blue Jackets were number 4. So if you look at the regular season game, the Caps should be able to pull this off, but if they're not able to stay calm under pressure, then they probably won't. I will say, in my opinion, Holtbeast is the MVP of this series, as he saved 33 shots in the last game. I think that, he kind of had a difficult season in February, and getting pulled by Trotz for Grubauer was definitely a kick in the butt that I think he needed, because now we see him back stronger than ever, the glue that's holding down this team, especially in that third period. So we'll definitely keep watching.
Well, moving on from a team that's really kind of on the outside looking in, let's take a look at one team that has just blown up the charts this year. The Las Vegas Knights, Golden Knights, are the first team that's made it into the second round this kind of dream season. They beat the LA Kings, who, by the way, are an excellent playoff team, and they've quickly become a team that you just have to root for. And they might be the best expansion team in the history of pro sports. Nick, they looked sharp in this series against the Kings. If San Jose can sweep Anaheim Wednesday, that sets up what could be a really tough matchup in the second round. How do you see the Golden Knights faring?
Well, that was the best expansion team in the history of sport. That's a hot take right there. It's getting a little bit warmer in here. The lights got a little brighter, but the Golden Knights, they're making me shut up. Because I said to them, okay, you're an expansion team. You're the miracle in the desert. You're the band of brothers who's coming together to let everybody know, you shouldn't have gotten rid of me, and here's why. These guys have a vendetta against them. And it's kind of shocking, not only the way that they dismantled the LA Kings, but the way in which that everybody's kind of looking around and saying, okay, these guys can really make a run for it. Everybody still thinks the Predators may win the cup at the end of it. It's going to be Bruins and Predators could take it. But I mean, these Kings are really shocking a lot of people. I think that when it comes up to against them playing the Sharks, regular season, they won 3, they lost 3. So now we're in the playoffs. Now we're in the second round. Show me something again. Show me that you actually belong as this expansion team, and maybe even shock the entire world by winning the Stanley Cup this year.
Oh, I think they've already shocked the entire world too, not to mention the fact that, my favorite story, I guess, out of the Golden Knights' first big victory in the first round is Braden McNabb's goal. As you all know, he was previously an LA Knight, and now he's showing off that you left me and I'm back and better than ever.
Yeah, it certainly is impressive when you're able to score against your previous team to get your team through to the second round. Yeah. But right now, Alexa, it looks like the next team to win is probably going to be San Jose. They've been handling Anaheim by a large margin, as we've been talking about. Yeah. But after that, it's really tricky to know who's going to make it into the next round. There are a lot of teams that are currently sitting at about 2-1 in their series records right now. How do you see the rest of this first round shaping up?
Well, Juliana, let me walk you through my predictions. I say Pittsburgh Penguins over the Philadelphia Flyers, Tampa Bay Lightning over the New Jersey Red Devils, and Nashville Predators over Colorado Avalanche. Yeah, and I think that the Preds could actually, going beyond this first series, win the Stanley Cup. They just have so many great players on their side, not to mention the fact that they did win the President's Trophy, and usually, don't tell the Caps this, but usually there is a correlation between Stanley Cup and President's Trophy. So we'll keep watching for that. Then my next set of predictions are the Winnipeg Jets over the Minnesota Wild. Again, we have Connor Hellebuyck, great goalie, incredible shutout last night. Boston Bruins over Toronto Maple Leafs. And here's a controversial one for you. Washington Capitals over Columbus Blue Jackets. I still can't get this out of my head that I think if the Caps stay composed and strong, they can do this. They can pull this off. Holtby won the Vezina, as we talked about earlier, in 2016, Bobrovsky last year, so it's really just down to who wants it more.
Well, I think we've got a lot on our plates for the next couple of weeks. I'm excited for this end of this first round, see where things kind of shake out. The first round's going to finish out next week, but our NHL crew will be back in 2 weeks to talk about the second round action. Be sure to tune in on YouTube, however, next week, Thursday, April 26th at 7 p.m. Central for a live NFL draft show brought to you by Medill Sports Talk. Follow us on Twitter and Snapchat for updates at Medill Sport Talk. And for Nick Mantas, Alexa Adler, and our phenomenal crew, I'm Juliana Sherry. We'll see you next week.